Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, we'll be studying the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, English page 777. And Bengali, the complete Bengali, published by Udbodhan, Kathamrita, is 832. Now let us begin. Tabo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriditam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. The gospel is Sravana Mangala. If anyone is listening these words, his mind will be purified. The Mangala, what is that Mangala? That is the benefit of the spiritual benefit that we get. Our mind becomes purified. How the mind becomes purified? Because at that time when we are listening the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are naturally, our mind is also thinking all those, the worldly things that is associated with our selfishness cannot come into that thought. By that way, our mind becomes purified. Adi Shankaracharya says that the purification of mind is essential for spiritual growth. The mana shuddhi karanam, that is a very important thing. But how to purify the mind? By withdrawing the mind from the sense objects. And the easiest process to withdraw the mind from the sense objects, listening or reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It is a so fascinating, so enchanting and so attractive way it has given us the spiritual teaching. Now we were reading at the house of the Balaram and Girish. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is sitting with some of the devotees and they are discussing, and not only that, only Sri Ramakrishna is speaking, they themselves, among them also they were discussing, and Sri Ramakrishna is listening and then sometimes rectifying them, correcting them in a very special, wonderful way, not hurting them. And the very modern psychology teacher, as they do it, similarly is rectifying their defects and helping them to understand the thing correctly. Because spiritual thought is completely different. When we always think, we think with the five things only. And the chakshu, karna, nashika, jiva, tak, the eye, the nose, the tongue and all. With that only, whatever we can perceive, we think in that way, our thoughts are that, expressions are also that. So we cannot go beyond these five. But these five is under the limitation of the Maya. We will come to the discussions of the Maya. And Master is saying in this way, a devotee, one reflected sun, but there certainly exists the real sun. The Master to Girish, what remain when that pot is broken? We heard in our previous reading, we heard that Sri Ramakrishna was giving the example of the Jivatma and the Paramatma. The Paramatma is like the sun, and Jivatma is the reflected sun reflecting on the water that has been kept in the containers. Maybe the earthen containers, but Sri Ramakrishna was telling, suppose the 100 earthen pots are there full of water, and each and every earthen pot is having the reflection of the sun. Now if you break one, what happens? Nothing. So this is all reflected. So this is the way it goes and goes. Then he is telling, suppose 9 reflected suns, but the certainly exists a real sun. A devotee is giving the Master, all right, suppose you break 9 pots, how many suns do you see now? the devotee one reflected sun, but there certainly exists the real sun. Then the master to Girish, what remains when the last pot is broken? Then Girish says, the real sun, sir. When he says like that, the master immediately is saying, no, what remains cannot be described. Now, we are telling the real sun, real sun, real sun. What is the real sun? It is just giving that example. Of course, the sun and reflection, we can say, when all the reflections are broken, the pots are broken, no reflection there, then the real sun, one real sun. But here the real sun means Sri Ramakrishna wanted to say that is the Atman, the Brahman. That's why he says, what remains cannot be described. What is remains? How will you know there is a real sun unless there is a reflected sun? I consciousness is destroyed in Samadhi. So, this is a very subtle point in Vedanta. Vedanta, it takes us to the oneness. And what is that oneness? If we have a conception that there is one big light and I as a Jivatma, the individual soul, the small light, going and merging into that one light and one light remain, that is also, we think in the conception of time, space and causation. That is also not there. What remains, it remains. Boje pran, boje jar. Swami Vivekananda, he said in one of his poems, that realization, it is there, asti, that feeling is there, that much. So, Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning in the, see how perfect he is. He never read all this in Sanskrit, all the scriptures. No Upanishad, no Vedanta, nothing. It's his own realization. And that tallies with all the Upanishads. Upanishads that was composed, the revelations of the truth in the minds of the rishis, which was 4,000 years before, 3,000 years before, which they recorded afterwards. Same thing, without reading, without having any idea of that, when it is coming in the truth, that is in the mind of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, that proves that those truths discovered by the rishis thousands of years ago are true. The Sri Ramakrishna is the Pramana Purusha. So that he is proving the truth, proving the scripture. So here we find in this way, a man climbing down from the Samadhi to the lower plane cannot describe what he has seen there. It was late in the evening and lamps were burning in the drawing hall. Sri Ramakrishna was in a spiritual mood. The devotees sat around him. The master in the ecstatic mood. There is no one else here, so I am telling you this. He is telling the truth about himself. And he was so conscious because the people suddenly they have come, don't have the background of spirituality. If they hear it, they will misunderstand in a different way. So that is the why. That's why he is telling I am telling you this because other people are not there. He who from the depth of his soul seeks to know God will certainly realize him. Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling it with all conviction. To whom? The people, those who are sitting over there, almost all of them, they believed that there is God. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling them, he who from the depth of his soul seeks to know God will certainly realize him. He must. So look at it when sometimes we doubt whether there is God, whether we will be able to realize God or not. Sri Ramakrishna is giving us the complete assurance. There is God. One can realize God, but he has to be sincere. And not only that, a sincere seeker of God will really, surely realize. He must, he said, he must. He alone who is restless for God and seeks nothing but him will certainly realize him. Now, what is that realization? Those who are going towards the God, it depends on their conception also. Some people, they like to see God in this way, they like to God in that way. They realize that because he is the repository of everything. So that is there. But one thing is very common. He is pure, purity. And what is that purity? It is love. The love is the purity, full of love. And when there is love, there is unselfishness. So that is the reason Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is God. In whatever aspect we go to God, maybe from the dualistic aspect, the God is like this, as a Krishna, as a Rama, as a Ganesha, as a Kali. So whatever may be the aspect, but when you reach over there, the feeling that comes, my God is Mother Kali, but she is full of love, she is full of unselfishness. My God is Krishna, full of love and unselfishness. So love and unselfishness, these two great qualities will surely be there when one realizes God, realize him. Those who belong to this place, that is Bhagavan, in the inner circle of the Master, have already come. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he is mentioning this, they have already come, the inner circle. And that is 1885 or so, he is mentioning in this way. And 86 he left his body. So obviously all those inner people, they have already come. It was 1885 April, so Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, and 1886 he left his body. So obviously those who were very close to him, through them he wanted to spread this wonderful message, they already come. So he said, those who belong to this place, he is not telling me, have already come. Those who will come from now on are outsiders. Such people will come now and then. The Divine Mother will tell them, do this. Call on God in this way. So this is the way now that we are coming to him. And one of the very senior Swami, the direct disciple of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he mentioned, so see, we saw him, we were with him, the God in that human form. So we were attracted to God. It is not much. But you people, you have not seen him, you have not spent days with him, but still you love him, you like him, you like to realize God. You are blessed. The God has given you that, the very pure mind, the attraction of this world you are not now leaving and trying to go towards God. It is so difficult. So that is why they say those who came afterwards, they are more fortunate, because they came only by hearing the name of that Lord, by reading about him, by knowing about him. So this love, attraction is more pure, more powerful. But Sri Ramakrishna is telling inner circle, means the message that he wanted to give. He first lived and proved, then gave those messages to those people who were able to carry those messages. The 16 direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, each and every one of them, they were pure souls. Sometimes some people, they like to know which book we should read. The life of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Apart from the life of biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Swami Vivekananda, another 15 direct disciples, the unique life. So wonderful, they are coming in contact with the Sri Ramakrishna and how slowly they are transforming. That inspires. So he is telling the inner circle. Now he is mentioning, why doesn't man's mind dwell on God? Why doesn't man's mind dwell on God? And he is giving the reply. You see, more powerful than God. So he is telling, why doesn't man's mind dwells on God? You see, more powerful than God is his Mahamaya. The more powerful than God, as if he is trying to give the. So if we take this in this way, oh, the God's power is more powerful than the God. No, that will be it's a wrong way of understanding. He is trying to give the impress upon our mind that the power of God is so powerful. As if God is also bound by that. He is telling in this way, the Mahamaya. And he is telling his power of illusion, Mahamaya. Rama said to Narada, I am very much pleased with your prayer. Ask a boon of me. Narada replied, O Rama, may I have pure devotion to your lotus feet, and may I not be deluded by your world bewitching Maya. Rama said, be it so. Ask for something else. Narada replied, no, Rama, I do not want any other boon. This is the challenge. The God always, naturally, everywhere, when you are trying to recruit someone or to give someone something, some certificate, so obviously there will be some process of judgment, examination. Very carefully they will judge you, examine you. Then only they will give you. Now we are going to realize God or the Brahman or the Atma Jnana, as they say in Sanskrit, the knowledge of the Atman, the knowledge of the oneness. And we are going to go beyond the circle of birth and death. All the 6 changes, we are going beyond that. The birth and the growing and the decaying and the death and all this, the changes, circle, we are going to go beyond that. And naturally, there will be a terrible, a very difficult examinations. And who is doing it? God himself. And what is that? Trying to allure you with all these worldly things. What do you want to have? The one young man went to the Yama and he was telling, can you please tell me whether truly there is Atman? People, they are confused. They are debating on that. There is something which is constant, there is Atman, and some people say, no, we are just the birth and the death, that is the only truth we know. And why you think about other? So all these debates are going on. And you, the Yama, the god of death, you are standing on the threshold of both the life and death. You must be knowing what is true. You are the best teacher. O Lord, can you please tell me? And you know, those who have read that great Upanishad, Kathopanishad, The Yama, the first 3 boons he offered and first 2 he gave immediately. But the third one, the moment he asked, give me the knowledge of Brahman, the Atman, the eternal, immediately he started telling, hey, what you are going to do with that? Rather you take all this, look at this wonderful thing, enjoy it, I will give you a long life. But this young man refused to accept that. So when we are trying to develop our spiritual life, then the God will give us many other things. The rich people will come and they will be your disciples, they will be touching your feet, they will be offering a lot of money and many other things. And many people will be clapping and following you, and slowly you will be deluded. And that is the last hurdle. If one can restrain, then only the last hurdle he can jump, he can cross, he can scale. Otherwise it's very difficult. Again go back to the square one. The terrible thing. So this Maya, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, this powerful Maya. What is that Maya? Delusion. What is the delusion? Clappings of the people, appreciations of the people, and all they will come and say, you are the best, you are the good, and that makes that person mad. And look at this world, you can see. They behave very peculiarly. They think they are the only person, is it? Millions and trillions of people are there. They got only one opportunity. What special quality is there? But this, because the all people around him, they started telling, you are the best. They also start thinking, I am the best. And this ego is the act of Maya. So friends, it is very difficult to explain Maya, but Shankaracharya, in his great work, that the Viveka-Chudamani, he mentioned 108 words of the Viveka-Chudamani, the sloka. There he is mentioning, is trying to give the definition. Abhyakta namni, first word he is using. Abhyakta namni, unmanifested. And how you will explain about thing which has not manifested yet. So Abhyakta namni, Paramesha Shakti, the power of the Supreme Lord. Anadi avidya. And what is this power? Avidya, nescience, ignorance. Avidya, Ashmita, Raga, Desha, Vinivesha. In the Yoga Shastra, they say these are the 5 called avidya. Avidya, Asmita. Avidya means ignorance. Asmita, the ego. Raga, attachment. Dvesha, aversion. Vinivesha, and the fear of death. So all these 5, these are called avidya. And this anadi, it is beginningless. Na adi, anadi. Adi means beginning. Anadi is beginningless. Trigunatmika para is a supreme. Triguna. Triguna, you know that those who are the students of Vedanta, and in Hinduism you always say they will be talking about the 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tama. And Sattva is the best, good. Tama is the lowest. Raja in between, mixture of these 2. The Sattva, Raja and Tama, these are the 3 qualities. Mixing these 3 qualities, permutation and combination, the whole universe. These 3 only. Not that the many variety, only 3. And then he is having another 2 power. What is that? It has the power to cover the original, the truth, and superimposing some unnecessary untruth, false, on that truth. These 2 power. Avarana and Vikshepa. Avarana, the Sanskrit word means covering. Avaran, covering. And Vikshepa is throwing something, imposing something on that. This two power comes from the Mahamaya. Is a very bad person, but I start liking that person, loving that person. I know all these things that he is doing are bad, but still something happened in me. I start developing friendship with him and his company. Ultimately, I suffer because of that company, because of whom by mistake I thought is a friend. And even the ideologies. We follow some of the ideologies. Some people are coming and talking, see, we are suppressed, we are oppressed, we have to go and fight and kill, and this way, that way. God wants us to go and kill. God has created everything. So that one, the person whom I am going to kill, also the creator of God. If I have something I can against him, then that is separate. But why in the name of God? Why in the name of religion? But still thousands of people are motivated by that. If you ask them, come and please sit over here and meditate, how many will come? Very few. But if you give the call, oh my friends, see, our religion is in difficulty, please come and let us go and fight with them, you will find so many followers. Why? Because of the ignorance, nescience, and that is Maya. So how the Maya is proved? He says, Karjanumeya. It is inferred from the effect. What is that effect? All bad things that we do wrongly, thinking that is the very good thing I am doing. That is the problem. If you know that I am doing something bad and you do the bad for your own purpose, that is a different thing. Knowing that as the best thing that I am doing, thinking in that way, you are doing the wrong thing. So that is the act of the Maya. Karjanumeya. Karja, anumeya. Anumeya means inference. How? Through the karya, through the effect. Great people, intelligent people, educated people, they also make this great mistake. So why they are deluded? Why can't they understand this? Answer is Maya. So this is Karyanumeya. Sudhivaiva. The Sudhi means those who have realized it, understood it. They are called Sudhi. Sudhi means the realized souls. And after understanding it, realizing it, they are telling this. Yaya yagat sarvam. From where this jagat, sarvam, everything that you see, idam prasuvate, from where it has come. So what is this universe? The creation of Maya. It's a fully elusive illusion. But for us, those who are under the spell of the Maya, it is very much correct, very much true, very much real, very much adorable. But go and see the pages of the history that proves again and again that it has all gone. But still we don't like to understand that. One after another, whoever gets the chance to rule the country, he thinks that I am the king and I can do anything I like. Wrong. Because that is the time he should be humble, thoughtful, very composed, because this is an opportunity that I have got. Let me do as best as possible for beneficial for each and every one. And by that way, when I am doing it, I should be humble because I got the opportunity. Anyone could do it. Not that I have been elected as the king, that I am the only person. No. But almost nil, very, very few microscopic personality, we can say, they will be able to understand why. They are not idiots. They are very intelligent people, courageous people, very successful people. Why then they cannot understand it? Maya. There is a very peculiar power of God that deludes people. So 108th verse of the Vivek Chudamani and also 9th one, I am not quoting that. There's the Shankara will mention, Abhyakta namni paramesha shakti anadi avidya trigunatmika para karyanumeya sudhiyaiva maya yaya jagat sarvam idam prasuvate. So what is the cause of creation? Maya. So Vedantin, they use the word Maya to explain this creation. This is the most difficult question. Who has created this universe? And how he has created? How it is sustaining? What is the goal of this creation? What is going to happen at the end of this creation? These are the very, very difficult questions. And eternally it has been asked. And eternally the philosophers tried to answer in a different way. That's why so many different paths. The philosophy, so many different philosophies. Why? There are so many varieties, a different way they are thinking to get the answer. Some people say, don't ask question because the God has created this. And from the Monday to Saturday, he worked and Sunday he took the rest. Another group came and told, no. He worked completely different way. He worked from Sunday to Friday. Sunday, Monday and like that up to Friday. Saturday he took rest. Third group came, why Saturday? He took rest on Friday. So from Saturday he started working, from Saturday to Thursday, Friday is the rest time. So some people, they will close everything and they'll say, this is the rest day on the Friday. Some people will say Saturday and some people will say Sunday. But when the God was creating, whether he was tired by creating? That is the main question. Because he just think and every creation comes. There is no light. And the God said, let there be light. There was light. That is the way it is created, just he thought. But the question is why he thought? No one can ask this question. That is absurd. No one can ask this question. Why he thought? In the Vedanta also he says, Ekaham bahushyamavihi. I am alone, I like to be many. A thought came. And where there was equilibrium, tranquility, no changes, and suddenly the changes started coming. Where? Sattva, Raja, Tama, these three qualities, it got activated. Then immediately as if the white color started spreading. Then the red color also started spreading. Then the black color started spreading. So like that, Sattva is represented by white color, Raja by red color, Tama by black color. So as if the three colors started and that started spreading. Then they came and they started mixing. And in the Vedanta they will say Panchikaranam. The Panchikaranam means they will be mixing. The original one will be the 1/2 and the others will be the other 1/8. So by that way it will be a full. So this. First was the thought. It is all subtle. When we think, the subtle thing, just thinking. Then slowly it come out as a word. And when the word comes, from there the actual the thing started. Stula. Stula means the gross. The gross thing started coming up. So first is the cause. What is the cause? And then the cause is turning into the second effect, the sukshma, the subtle. Then the third is only the gross. I thought that I will construct a house. A thought. But where the thought came in the first, in my mind, and immediately I started collecting fund, and then the engineer, the drawing, the permission, and slowly, first it was the thought, then finally it came as a manifestation. So this is the three way it works. But three, the good, mixture of good and bad, these three qualities also started coming. So all this, the details are there. Those who are interested, you can read the how the Vedanta they explain. The different religion, different philosophy in different way, they are trying to tell about the creation, because that is still, it is, no one could say this is. But the Vedanta say the most accurate answer is Maya. Why? If the God has created this universe, how he has created? The material is necessary. What was that material? If it is a gross material that was already existing along with the God, when the God was created, eternal. You cannot ask when the God was created. It is eternal. So does it mean the matter, material, out of which this world has been created was also that way, same way like the God, it was eternal? Then the two existences are there. That cannot be. One is God, another the matter. No, that cannot be. So how it is possible? In this way, when we are thinking, we will understand the Vedantin are telling in a very almost accurate way. Why? They say it was the thought only, and the thought started taking form because God's power, God's Shakti, the power, started manifesting. So it says, Abhyaktananmi, unmanifested. Manifested we can always go and see. Anything that is manifested, we know, we can go and touch, we can explain about it, we can taste it, and we can give the name. Nothing is there, completely unmanifested. And this is the power of the God. And when it came, it is with the God because of the power of the God. If the God is eternal, his power is also eternal. The moment the God was there, the power was also there. When God was there eternally, his power is also eternal. Anadi, na adi, anadi, but this is avidya. Why? If this is truth, vidya and avidya, these are the two different words. They always say, vidya means knowledge. The moment you know that God is only existing, then there will be no creation. The moment you know that you are dreaming, then there will be no dream. So that is the way when I am dreaming, I don't think that I am dreaming. When the thought comes that I am dreaming, then dream breaks. So I am completely under the spell of the dream, and that is the time I go on thinking, and very genuine way, actual way, these are all things are happening. When all that is over, when I get up, when the dream is broken, then only I can, judge, that was not true. Unnecessarily I was afraid of a tiger. There was no tiger, it was only imagination. But I was afraid. How I will know that I was afraid? Because I perspired. When I was sleeping, even then as if I was running speedily, so whole body was sweating, so much of sweat. That is proof that I was really afraid of a tiger in my sleep. My sweat is the proof. That's why I say karjanumeya. Karya means the effect that has come. Had I not been in that situation, why unnecessarily when I am sleeping and in an air-conditioned room, no question of sweating. But as because the sweating was there, that means I was really afraid of. So I thought, oh, I was seeing the dream. And it's true. I am sweating all over. Still my heart beat. And so it has increased. Still I am afraid. I think somebody should be there in my room. So all this effect shows, proves there. So karjanumeya, the maya is just like that. How I will know the maya was there? The karya, the effect. So, and this maya is also known as the beginning. It's called karana sharira. So again, I will just mention, though we were reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, but the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's word is always connected with the different scriptures. And if we have some basic idea of the Vedantic, the values and the Vedantic terminologies and the way of explanation, it will be easy to understand. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he mentioned that those who he who from the depth of his here. Why doesn't man's mind dwell on God? That was the question. Why doesn't man's mind dwell on God? Then he said, it is because of the power, more powerful than the God, as if Mahamaya. So why our mind is not on God? Because of the Maya. What is the Maya? That we are discussing. And we have come to another step that is called the three bodies are there. Sthula Sharira, Shukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. The students of Vedanta, they all know these terminologies. Sthula means gross body, and we know what is this. The bone, the marrow, the blood, and all those things are called Sthula Sharira. And that is exactly what the doctors are checking, examining, and giving the medicine. About the Sthula Sharira, we all know. Then most of us are also aware about the Shukshma Sharira. What is the Shukshma Sharira? Inside the gross body, there a subtle body is also there. And mainly in the subtle body is the prana is there. It says Sukshma or Linga Sharira, though that is a Vedantic terminology and Vedantic way of thinking. They say 5 karmendriya, subtle karmendriya, 5 gyanendriya, 5 vayu, 5 mahabhuta, 4 antakarana, mon, buddhi, chitta, ahamkara, these 4 antakarana, then avidya, kama and karma. These are the total is called Sukshma Sharira. And when we die, we believe, the Hindus they believe, when we die, this subtle body, it goes away, taking all the impressions so that it can carry on the effect of the karma, the work that we have done in the next life. So this is also possible. Now, if don't like to believe, don't believe, but this is what the Hindus they say. Otherwise, you cannot answer many other questions. But whatever, the Sthula Sharira, the gross body, about which you all know, then the Sukshma Sharira, that is inside us, and that is also subtle, and in that subtle body we are aware about the mind, if not other things, we are all aware about the mind. And nowadays, because of the tremendous pressure, for different type of pressure, because the competition is so much, so obviously people they go to the psychologists, to the doctors who are handling the mind. So we are aware about the mind. Maybe the children are not, but the grown up, all they understand the mind. The mind is the cause of our suffering, and mind is the cause of our joy. Now when we are happy, where it comes? In the mind, the thought, and we think we are happy, body only react accordingly. Body don't understand the suffering or joy or happiness, nothing. It is in the mind. Body only goes along with that. The effect comes on the body. The sukshma and sthula, the gross body and the subtle body, which we can say in one word, the mind, the sukshma, the subtle body, the mind, okay, up to this. Then what is the cause? The causal body. The Hindus, they go very deep up to the root. They say sukshma sharira is the gross body, and before that it was a subtle body, it was taking the form, and then it must be a cause is there, a reason is there, otherwise why? At this causal body, it says Mahamaya. The Maya is the cause. That's why in the Shetashvatara Upanishad also, not only Shankara in his that book, it is Shetashvatara Upanishad. They also says, Mayam tu prakritim viddhi. Mayi nam tu maheshwaram. Mayam tu prakritim viddvat, Mayi nam tu maheshwaram. Tasya avayava bhutaihi tu vyaptam sarvam idam jagat. So that is the reason. From that, what is that Maya? Prakritim viddhi. What is that Prakriti? Sattva, Raja, Tama, Guna, and the Avarana, Vikshepa, all this is called Prakriti. But the word Prakriti that has been used by the Samkhya philosophy and the Prakriti of the Maya, Prakriti or Maya of the Vedanta, it is little different, because they say though inert, but that Prakriti is separate from the actual consciousness. But the Vedanta say no, it is the power of the God. That's why it says it is associated with the Maheshwara. Mayam tu prakritim vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Who is the master of that power? Maya is a power. Who is the master of that power? Maheshwara. Moha Ishwara. Moha means supreme. Ishwara means the God, the supreme God. And the supreme God has no form. Always when they say Maheshwara, though the Shiva is known as Maheshwara, but in reality Moha Ishwara is not having any form. It is that consciousness. It has all power. And from that, everything has come. Tasya abha bhutaihi tu vyaptam sarvam idam jagat. It's all this jagat, this manifested universe that you see, because of that. And that's why it says karana sharira. That is the causal body. The sukshma sharira or the linga. Linga means we can say a symbol. So sthula sharira, sukshma sharira and karana sharira. These are the three, the body. And because of the karana sharira, the Maya, because in the Maya all this power came, and with that power it took that subtle form, I should do, I should work. And then the work is this universe, this world. Now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he is talking with his devotees, he mentioned about these. So why doesn't man's mind dwell on God? You see, more powerful than God is his Mahamaya and his power of illusion. Everyone under the spell of this world bewitching Maya. When God assumes a human body, he too comes under the spell. Rama wandered about weeping for Sita. And that is the again and again that we find. Then the Bhavanath, he will be asking some question. Before that, we can conclude this, the why our mind is not dwelling on God. The God is the source of joy. God is the source of eternity. God is the source of knowledge. And these are the three things that we need. We like to survive. We like to know. We like to enjoy. And if we go to God, we get these three. But why we can't? Because the power of God. Now the question is, who can control the power of God? God Himself. So that is the reason why we are worshipping God, meditating on God, praying to God. What is the reason? Because we want God to help us to control His power. The master of the dogs, they are very ferocious dogs are there. But the moment the master gives the whistle, immediately they are calm, quiet. You can just pass, even you can pat the dogs, they won't do anything. Because the control of the master. So the God is the master of this terrible power, which is binding each and every one of us, and then throwing us into the circle of birth and death again and again. And when we are old, then we understand how much suffering in this life. When we were young, obviously no one could understand. But when we are old, we become, the body is not cooperating, mind is not cooperating, all around people whom we thought our relatives and friends and so close, we used to love them, they all go away slowly, slowly. No one comes to me. We all understand this again and again. On the deathbed, we are all alone. That we know very much. Even those people whom we love so much, will they accompany me along with my death? No, that is not possible. So that again and again, when we are understanding that when the birth and the death in that circle, so many sufferings are there. And for the little joy, we are thinking that we will be able to understand, we are wasting our time. Now why? We have understood today that it is because of the Mahamaya, the power of God. And who can control the Mahamaya? God Himself. Now the Sri Ramakrishna, just one line before, he said, anyone can realize God. Anyone. It is not the language or the family or anything, the place of birth, nothing, no time, nothing. Anyone, anytime, anywhere, they can realize God if they are sincere. And how the sincerity will come? They will give away all the creation of God, which is constantly learning us, luring us, attracting us, alluring us from God. We have to say like the Nachiketa, no, enough is enough. O Lord, keep all your things with you. I only want you. I only want to know you. Immediately, the God will blow the whistle, and the terrible Maya, which was pouncing on us, will stop. And we will realize God. Now the Bhagavan, Bhavanath is telling, the guard of a railway train shuts himself of his own will in a carriage, but he can get out whenever he wants to. The Bhavanath, that young man, after listening this, he gave an example, because he heard it from Sri Ramakrishna, because he is coming and he is hearing, so he gave that. An example is the avatar, the Sri Rama or Sri Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna now at our time, they themselves came, they are gods, they came in the human form as if that the master, as the Bhavanath is telling, the guard of the rail, so he can put him in any place and close the door and sit, but anytime he can come out. The master, Ishvara Kotis, divine incarnation, for instance, can liberate themselves whenever they want to. It will be better, the Bhavanath was talking about that the guard of the railway, Rather, we can say in the jail, and if you go to the jail, you will find the superintendent of the jail. He is the master of that. Any time he can go in, any time he can come out. And why superintendent only? Other guards also. Because they are going of their own, and when the duty is over, they are coming out. No one is going to stop them. But the inmates, but the prisoners, those who are there, they cannot come out unless and until all things are over. They won't be able to come out. We are also like that. We come in a body, but we cannot go out of this creation unless and until we understand the Creator, and then we merge with the Creator. So that is the whole process of religion. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says, in this not only the avatars, but also Ishvara Kotis. They are also not the avatara. The avatars are the power of God, God Himself taking that human form. Ishvara Kotis are very pure soul, but they come to help the avatars in their spiritual work. This Ishvara Kotis, the divine incarnations for instance, can liberate themselves whenever they want to, but the Jiva Kotis cannot. What is the Jiva Koti? The Jiva Kotis are we. Jiva, the individual self, because of our desire. We like to see this, we like to see that, we like to have this, have that. All these desire for the worldly life. And when these worldly things, whatever little thing that we want, we are bound. The jivas are imprisoned but by the lust and gold. That is the problem. When the doors and windows of the room are fastened with screws, how can a man get out? Bhavanath smiling. Ordinary men are like the third class passengers on a railway train. I don't know. Maybe this Bhavanath was traveling in a train. So constantly he is thinking about that. So in those days, in the third class passengers, the railway, the guard will come and close it. When the doors of the compartments are locked, they have no way to get out. This is in a 19th century beginning. At that time, the very new introduction of the railways, those systems were there perhaps, you cannot open the door and like that. The Girish is mentioning, if a man is so strongly tied hand and foot, then what is his way? Master is telling, he has nothing to fear if God Himself, as the Guru, cut the chain of Maya. Cut the chain of Maya. Who can do it? God as Guru. The Guru means a guide, a person who is traveling or has already traveled that path. Now, he has learned, and obviously he is now passing that powerful mantra, the initiation, through initiation, to other people. And this is very simple. Only the repetition of the God's name, thinking about God, and slowly purifying the mind and becoming completely detached from the worldly attachments. Things will be there all around us. Since we have taken birth till death, all things will be there around us. People will be there and property will be there, everything that we see, which is necessary for a human being. But we are not attached to that. We can say, well, it is enough. I like to go back. That will be sufficient. So that is possible through the Guru, and Guru is that God. It's not the human Guru. Always we think that the human Guru. No, the human Guru is giving the power of the divine Guru, which is God Himself, because the power of God is Maya. Again and again we have discussed that the God and His power. That is the cause of creation. We are the part of creation. The God has given us the one gift that we can think, we can understand. And then we heard that if you are not going back to the source, the God, the owner, then you have to go on suffering. This much we have. Now we apply our intellect, which has been given by the God Himself. The Shastra, the scripture has taught us. Intellect has been given by the God to discriminate, to understand that, to analyze that. After the analysis, we decided it is enough that we should go back. And then where we will go? To God only. Through whom? Through human gurus. But if we take the human guru by mistake, that particular person as God, then there is a mistake. The guru is God, and all our 100% dedication should be to God. By that way, we can realize God. Thank you, friends. And is there any question?
Bob is asking, when Christians go to heaven, they are reunited with family that has gone before. In Hinduism, do we ever get to see family again?
There is a conception, Bob, there is a conception that there are some people, those who like to go to their ancestors, to their family, that they can go over there. That's called Pitri Loka. In Sanskrit, they call Pitri means ancestors. The Pitri Loka, Loka means where they all are there. So that is the conception, they may go. But according to, this is all like the waves of the mind. So what is a family? The same wave. So naturally they go and they meet over there. That is one type. Of course, in Hinduism also it is there. They go over there, they can meet.
Rishikesh is asking, is it possible to choose between Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya?
Rishikesh, this is of course most of us, almost all of us. There's no, we have chosen by mistake, wrong choice, the Avidya Maya. The Avidya, it is also Maya. Now we are trying to go back to Vidya. Vidya also binds, but it is better. And then from there we can go beyond the both. That is the process of spirituality.
Devjan is asking, what might be the cause that God thinks about creation of this universe?
Devjani, this is a very difficult question that you are asking, and Swami Vivekananda also replied that we are bold enough to say we do not know, because when the God thought and why He thought, no one can think in that way. The only they say as if a wave came and ekam sad, that I am the only ones existing and I like to be many. Ekaham bahushyamavi. There are many other quotations are also there. I like to be many. And through His power, that is the wave, the thought came. And then through the power of Maya, Sattva Rajatama, as we discussed over here, all this creation came.
The next question is, Akshay is asking, can a Jiva Koti become Ishwar Koti?
It's very difficult, because in other places also Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, the Jiva Koti cannot become Ishwara Koti. Ishwara Koti means it is the God, in different forms it comes. But it all depends on God only. Suppose the Jiva Koti is going and merging with that, of course we cannot say in this way. Suppose a drop of water falling in the ocean, it is becoming the ocean. Now again, from that ocean to the vaporization, it goes back to the sky as a cloud and then come back as a drop of water. then whether that drop, a big drop, that is the Ishvara Koti if we think. If it is the same water, we do not know. But Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, Jiva Koti, because they are very small container, they cannot think in that way, they cannot become Ishvara Koti. It is a God's chosen, a very few, very pure souls. But of course, anything is possible for God. Thank you.
Sonu is asking, would like to know the difference between Vairagya and Sannyas.
Oh, Sanu, actually, Vairagya, sannyasa means giving up. Samyak nyasa. You know, the samyak, the word samyak means complete, total. Nyasa means giving up. The samyak nyasa, completely giving up, is called sannyasa. What completely giving up? Ego. It's not the body, it is not the clothing, it is not this or that. It's the ego. When one can give up the complete ego, then he is a sannyasi. And Vairagya is the process, slowly giving up. That is the, I don't want the name, fame, money, physical comfort. I want God. That is that process called Vairagya. Extreme, that is called sannyasa. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Let us conclude with this stotra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Rama Krishnam Shirasa namamaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.